What?
I don't know what we're doing.
Yeah, so yeah, this is the thing, isn't it? Like, how do we start this?
Yeah, I don't know.
So, you know, when ChatGPT said, "Do you want to have some hands with openings?" How
Did
you
it say
start
that?
it? What did it say?
About intros and outros.
That's
No,
what.
songs. Like jingles.
Oh, intro and outro songs. Fuck that. We don't need any of that shit. I think we just need a little introduction to who we are and what we're doing. So, like, I'm Liam.
Oh, I'm Abi.
You need to speak up.
I'm Abi.
And yeah, we thought we'd just put something small together. We're in a pretty unique, probably not unique, but feels unique to us situation of being together for the last 2 years. And we've brought 2 families together and got 3 kids between us. We haven't really faced any difficulty in our relationship, but we've both experienced our own difficulties just through life and
External relationships.
external influences and stuff. And I think an outlet for us is to do something like this and just talk about it. We talk all the time about it, and I think sometimes it'd just be nice to get other people's opinions or even just have the value of doing this and discussing it.
Yeah, and seeing if there are other people in the same situation as us, which I'm sure there are.
Yeah, I'm sure there's people who aren't in the same situation of us that can relate to everything that we've been through and are going through as well. So
that's us in a nutshell.
Basically. So just to kick things off, we've got some small prompts and questions, and this is obviously the first episode, so we're just finding our feet and things like that, and a bit of background on us. Like, I'm an automation engineer. I do other online things, so talking in front of a camera is not so new to me, whereas it's very new for you.
Yeah. Very new.
I'm sure that shows. But I've been doing the same thing my entire life. I've been doing automation in industrial spaces for 20 years now. And what have you been doing?
I have been working in care for nearly 20 years as well. I worked in education and hospitality prior to that. But now I work in training in the care industry, kind of moving away from the actual caring side of things.
Yeah.
And moving to the teaching, which has always been a passion, teaching. I was a football coach at the age of 13. So through that, I think, I don't know, just find the love of care and teaching in one.
Yeah, I think it's something common between us that we like to teach and help and things like that.
And learn.
Something that I like doing, but I couldn't do the care industry. So kudos to you for doing that. But that's not something that I could do. And I've always known that I wanted to do automation. Like, I knew I'd do it forever. And did you think that you would always do care?
No.
No?
No, I wanted to be a librarian growing up.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, no, I was always head in a book when I was younger. Always had that. And to be fair, you know, even now at my age, I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up.
I say you're not old.
No, I know, but I'm saying I'm still where I am. I don't think is me.
No. Do you not reckon?
I don't know.
Wow, what do you think is you, or what are you aspiring to be?
Retirement.
Fucking hell. Okay.
No, I don't know. I think I've just gone through life not really knowing.
Yeah, but there must be something that you've stuck it out for. Like, what's been your biggest challenge in it that you take away and have that sense of achievement? There must be something that's keeping you in it. It's not the money, we know that.
It's not the money. I think it's, I don't know. I really don't know, because obviously I've stepping away from the care side of things a bit more. When you're in the care, when you're at someone's home, it's the putting the smile on someone's face and I guess being needed and wanted by someone.
Yeah, that's interesting, because that's the same sort of stuff that you look for in a relationship and things as well.
Which potentially is why, now that I found you and I have that satisfaction through you, maybe my love of care.
Emotional satisfaction.
Yeah. Yes.
I know what you mean. But
like, you know, that side of things potentially has weaned away.
The dog's sick of our conversation already.
Yeah.
He's off out of here. But yeah, that makes sense. I mean, my work role and job is very different. I don't get that sort of satisfaction. A lot of the time I'm just writing some software, sticking it out there, and I don't really see the impact that it has. I only ever hear about it if it goes wrong.
Yeah.
And somebody's knocking on the door saying, "Can you fix it?" So yeah, I don't get that level of satisfaction at all out of the stuff that I do, which is probably why I look so hard for the same things that you've spoken about, the wanting to, or the need of being wanted. I look for it so heavily outside of work.
Yeah.
Because it's not that I'm not wanted in work, it's that I know I'm needed in work because my work is quite niche and there's not a lot of people who do what I do and things like that. And I think because I already know that and everyone else already knows that, I don't get that feeling of, oh, I'm needed. I get that feeling of, oh, I'm needed.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that's not the same as what you're experiencing there. But I think the care industry is really, really difficult and really hard. And, you know, some of the stories that you come back with and the days that you come back with where you're sort of broken down and just knackered from day-to-day stuff, I can't relate to, because I'm like, how's your day been? You've been like, I've been dealing with this person's gone into hospital, this person's died. And I'm like, I typed some words on the keyboard and sat on my own for 8 hours and have my head down with music on and stuff. And it's completely different.
Yeah, completely. Two different separate working worlds.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think your career is one big challenge, whereas my career has been, mine's been a really slow burner. Like, I started when I was 16.
Yeah.
I'm not doing the same thing now. When I was 16, I was a maintenance engineer. Now I write the software for the things that I used to maintain. But I've never really been pushed to the edge in a job of being like, I can't take this anymore. Like, this is so stressful. Like, work's never really been a big stress. My stresses in life have been very much external.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think, and adapting around kids, like,
and routines.
Yeah, kids, routines, things like that. But I think in my career, I mean, like, my career really changed when I had kids, because I couldn't do the things of working late, working night shifts, doing standby, things like that. Like, none of that could happen anymore because I had dependents at home.
Yeah.
I needed to be at home.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess for me, sort of at the point of having my son, are we saying names or not?
Do you want to say names?
I don't know. I probably will slip out, but hey ho. I was a single parent from day dot. So trying to find a job to fit around being on my own, not forking out on childcare, and not having, you know, back in the day, my granddad and grandma were there to look after me if my mum was working.
Yeah.
But I haven't got that sort of support network around me because all my family are still at working age. Yeah. So they're at work themselves. So I was never in a position to call on them to be like, can you have him from XYZ time to this time whilst I finish work? So I did try to go back to work when he was 1. Yeah, just turned 1. And that's when I went back into being a teaching assistant at the college, because it was fairly decent hours. Again, like sort of term time, school hours ish. But my wages were covering his childcare costs. So it was ridiculous. And obviously with all the other bills I had to pay as well, for me, it just wasn't financially viable.
No, and I think that's more commonplace than people realise. I think people are very quick to bash single mums living on the system and all that.
But
sort
it's
of
the
stuff.
only way to do it. I never ever want to be a parent on the system claiming benefits, but it was the only way I could survive.
No, and my experience of young kids was very different. Obviously, I was with an ex-partner then. We were dual income, and we had enough on my wage for her to stay on maternity leave or, extended maternity leave for 6 months or whatever it was that she was on for. And ultimately, she didn't go back to work. Or she did, but very basic admin job, part-time hours, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And so that she could be there to look after the kids. And we were fortunate that I had the job that I had at the time, especially at the ages that we were at. And very different contrast to what you had to go through. I mean,
Well, it was only the other day we were talking, weren't we, about sort of money and sort of things like that. And whereas when he was a toddler, and I think this is probably when I stopped working at the college and wasn't doing anything, I was having to go to the food bank to get food because I literally had no money to go and do a food shop.
No.
Which is like our worlds were completely different.
No, and they were very different. And it's interesting because my family, like my parents, they have been through the same hardships that you've been through. Even together, they've been through that from a money point of view, having nothing. And I think it was really instilled into us as children that we have to work hard, because having no money is having nothing, which isn't true. Like, I would quite happily still be with you if we had nothing.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't want to be with anybody else sort of in that situation. Like, but equally, having no money scares the hell out of me. Like, all the whole mortgage stuff and everything like that. Like, I think I'm not tight with money. I spend money buying...
Frivolous. I can't say the word. Frivolously.
Yeah. I spend money on crap I don't need all the time. But if we were really in a bind, like, I would make sure that I was careful, that I did extra hours, that I found a way of making extra money. And I think that when you're a single parent, especially a single mum, those opportunities to do that stuff just they're not there in the same way. So
no.
Do you have to come and join us right now?
It's too early for dinner.
No. It's 8:30. It's too early for dinner. Tango, in your bed. In your bed, please. I knew it would happen.
Just edit that back.
Yeah. We were talking about single parents and money and stuff. What sort of thing has that taught you, do you reckon, through living that experience of having to sort your child out on your own with limited money, and like, how's that shaped where you are now, considering the position we're in now? Like,
I don't know how it shaped me, to be honest. I think it's taught me to be really resilient.
Yeah.
Really. I think, when did I move? Before COVID, so probably 2019. I moved to a place where a private rent, that's probably the pinnacle moment of my life, where I could pay rent on my own, well, with the help of benefits, but working, in a job, claiming the benefits, but not living in a family member's house
Yeah.
or sharing with someone or living
Having some dependency.
Yeah, like I
Or
was,
independency, rather.
yeah. So I was living independently, could pay the rent, could pay the bills, pay whatever, and financially was in a better position then. But again, that wasn't until he was in school, and I could I couldn't even work full time. I could still only work part time, but I was working. And yeah, I think that was the turnaround point for me, where I was actually proud of myself that I got to that point. You know, that I was in a deep hole when I had him and lived. We talk about it now like he has moved house however many times.
Yeah.
And he's only 11.
Yeah.
But that's because I've had to move in pillar to post to have a decent roof over our heads.
Yeah, whereas my kids have, well, one of them's moved once and the other one was born here and has stayed here his whole life. And so, yeah, again, very different experiences. And I do think experiences like that shape children. Like, and I do like, you know, the way my kids are with me and the way yours is with you are very different. They're not so much different now, and they're really not. There's been a lot of change over the last year or two, but yeah, like, you know, I don't want to say you've had a hard life, because I don't believe that you actually have had a hard life in the sense of how the average person would perceive that.
Mm-hmm.
But you've definitely had more challenges in establishing yourself somewhere than I have had and that my kids have had. But I do think it shapes kids in some respects, but they're still all great kids in their own merit and all that sort of stuff. And I think it's a lot about how the adults deal with the situation than the situation shaping the children. Like, I know it sounds contradictory there because I just said that it does shape the children, but I think it has a lasting impact, but the impact is weighted on how the adults help the kids deal with the situation. And you're a great mum, so, like, you know, he settled in here absolutely great.
Yeah.
Maybe that's because he's done so much moving, but
he's an adaptable boy.
But yeah, I think you know, going back to what did it teach you? You said resilience. I think that's a fair point.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. For me, I don't know what fatherhood has taught me through the lessons, through the years rather, because again, our story is very different there. Like, I had a family up until 3.5 years ago with someone else, and you know, their mum, and my experience of that was good for the most part. You don't stay with someone for 15 years for no reason, but the latter years of the relationship were difficult, and I do think that affected my relationship with my kids. And I guess I'm just glad that once that relationship ended, I really was able to pick up what I wanted with the kids and build that relationship the way it should have always been, instead of me sort of being stressed, I was never angry with the kids. Like, I wasn't shouting at them all the time, but I did have a short fuse. It would annoy me if we weren't timekeeping and things like that. And they were only young, but stepping away from that environment, it was definitely the environment that shaped me. Like, as soon as that environment was gone, we flew, really. We just did all the things that we wanted to do. I'm the person that you see now, you know, so I'm not sure you'd have liked me if we'd met earlier. So you'd have been like, oh, he's very bad tempered.
I don't know.
No, I was.
You still have your moments.
I still have my moments, but
don't we all?
These kids got to learn.
They do.
They do need to learn. But we got what decision completely changed your life? And we haven't lived very long lives, really.
No, really, only 20 years.
20? Fair enough.
What decision completely changed my life? Probably having my child.
Yeah.
Completely changed my life. Yeah. It's horrible to say, like, for the good and for the bad, you know. There were times, I think, when I wasn't working, when I was stuck in a rut, whenever, I don't know, I've suffered with depression, you know, when I've been in those bouts of depression where I have resented having my child for the fact that it changed my life completely.
Well, for the worse, in your view then?
In my view then, yeah, because I couldn't get a job. You know, I found at the time that I couldn't find a decent partner who would accept me and my son. You know, I didn't have the support network of his dad around either. So I think those three things just at times got to me. And yeah, but I'm here now.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't change it for the world now. But
no, that's fair. That's fair. That's a pretty good.
I can't even think. I can think back to where I was sort of when I fell pregnant. I was working. Where was I working? I just started in care actually, so I have been in and out of care for 20 years, but more so it's been 11 years in care solidly. So I just started a new job as well.
Yeah.
I fell pregnant, and then obviously the decision was made that when I told his dad that I was pregnant, we broke up that day.
That's not funny. That's not funny. That's just that's just one of those things. Like, how do you even react to that?
So obviously, it was a massive decision because the relationship had broken up before we'd even had him. Where do I go with that now, though? Really?
I think that speaks for itself. It completely changed your life, didn't it? And I think that's actually more than one event all rolled into one there. You didn't just fall pregnant and have a son. You lost your relationship in the process.
Yeah.
And that is not what anybody envisions when they say, I'm going to have a baby.
No.
So.
And it was a 7-year relationship, not just I've been with you a year, I'll fall pregnant type of thing.
No. There's a lot of history behind it. And I think for me, my life changed exactly the same, like when I had kids.
Yeah.
And although it changed in a much different way, like it wasn't the same thing at all. Like mine was positive, but it brought challenges that I wasn't expecting to have. And no one really prepares you for having kids or anything like that, all the challenges that it brings. But in no way, shape or form was mine anywhere near as challenging like as yours. Mine was much more routine, work, money, time, tiredness, like political stuff with families and things like that, and expectations from partners and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and I think sort of when we're looking at sort of challenges in our lives, like, yes, it was a challenge being on my own. However, I didn't have anyone in my ear saying, no, you're not doing this right. We should do it this way, you know, which I think you had. You know, you've got that other person there that if you're not doing something right for their standard, you're going to get shut down for it.
We definitely had differences in opinions on how to raise children, especially like maybe not so much in the early stages, but when we got to sort of like 2-3 years old, that stuff really started to show that our parenting styles were very different. You know, our upbringings were very different as well. And, you know, I'm not regimented and strict and all that by any means. However, I do believe that you have boundaries. The kids shouldn't cross those boundaries, but they should be able to clearly define where those boundaries are.
Yeah.
And if they can't, you just gently reinforce them. Whereas their mum was a bit more, kids don't understand, therefore you can't tell them off. Like, they understand through exploration, and of course they are going to test boundaries because they don't understand what those boundaries are. And my attitude was always, well, help them understand what they are. And
otherwise they're never going to learn.
No, and hers was a bit more, what's the point? Because they're not going to understand. Just let them get on with it. Stop them from doing something they shouldn't be doing, and then let them get on with it. Whereas I was a bit more, stop them and teach them. And after you've taught them so many times, if they continue to do it, then it's a choice, and they should be not punished, but they should be guided away from making those choices. And sometimes that involves a consequence, especially as they got older. I mean, the kids now, they definitely understand consequence.
Oh, absolutely. And there are countless amounts of children out there,
who don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there are no consequences to their actions, so they continue with that behaviour as such. And it's not just children, it's adults. Adults are like that as well. Working in care and working with adults and young children with learning disabilities.
Looking at your microphone getting stuck.
Sorry, it's just my armpit talking.
Yeah.
There are people out there and adults out there all over where their actions don't have any consequences, so they just carry on.
Yeah, and I totally take what you said on board, that being a single parent, you do have a lot more. Oh, that was the end of that recording.
Why?
Don't know. Yeah, I think maybe that is the difference, is that, I agree with everything you said. When you were bringing your child up, you didn't have the input of somebody else. And whilst there's some negatives to that, not having the input from somebody else, being able to shape your child the way that you want to shape them and what you believe is in their best interest is much, much easier. Whereas what I had was having to, maybe this was more about my relationship rather than the actual child, or the upbringing of children in this sense, but I always had to be mindful of what my partner would think about what I was doing with our children. Because whilst you should be mindful because there is somebody else involved and all that sort of stuff, I wasn't free to do what I thought was best for my kids, because the caveat to that was sometimes what I thought was best was not what she thought was best. And it started arguments effectively. It did start arguments. That's what happened. So, I know that you see it as a downside that, not a downside, but you definitely have more challenges having to do this stuff alone. But there is a part of me that when I look back to what I had to do, I'm like, God, I would have loved to have had moments where it was just me.
Yeah.
And I could have done this with the kids without the political aspect of somebody else's thought process and what the way they wanted to teach the kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's difficult, isn't it? You sort of touched on shaping the child how you want that child to be. But then when, say, we've come into this situation with you guys, it's not so much that he's not how you want him to be, but there are aspects of his behaviour that you can, and I can see it, that it's you're behaving in this way because it's always been you and your mum.
Yeah.
So that makes things difficult.
Yeah.
At times, but I think we've done well together to shape him into something better and to wean out those behaviours.
I don't want to label it as behavioural issues because it was never behavioural issues. it was more, he came from a household of 2 to a household of 5 with a dog as well. Like, he wasn't the most important person in the room. And I'm not saying that he was the most important person in the room with just you and him.
But there was no one else in the room.
But by default, if he wanted to kick up a stink and say, I want to do this, I'm going to kick off or whatever, well, there was no one else to sort of bounce off of, or it was just you versus him.
Yeah.
And I can, I'm putting words in your mouth, but as a tired mum who is trying to hold down a job, pay bills, and do the best for their kid, it's really easy to win that fight sometimes. Like,
yeah, I know. I don't think I was ever a pushover with him.
No.
At all. Like, and he still to this day does it. Like when we're out shopping, oh, that looks nice.
Yeah.
Can I have that? No.
He's got better at asking, because it used to just be like, oh, that looks nice. I'm really hungry. I haven't eaten anything all day.
Yeah.
Like the dropping hints rather than the direct asking. So.
Yeah, and it used to bug me because I'd obviously go out with friends and everything with him. And he would always want to be picked up and carried.
And
I'm always like, no. From the moment he could walk, that pushchair
was gone. That's the way it should be.
Yeah, and I was like, you're going to be independent. So then we go out on walks, and like a couple of my friends would just naturally pick him up. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
He can walk. And like when he's at preschool and stuff, he's saying he can't do X, Y, Z, which he is still like now at school. When he can do things, it makes me feel bad as a parent, because I'm like, he can.
Yeah, the I can't attitude. I do think, I'm going to deviate here, I do think the I can't attitude is something that is plaguing these kids' generations. Like, my kids do it, like yours does it, their cousins and all that. Everyone's doing it. I can't do that. And they are quick with excuses now as to why they can't achieve something, why they can't put any effort in, but why basic chores that they know they need to do, that they've always done, can't be done.
Yeah.
And, I can't remember all this stuff. I can't do all these things you're asking me to do. We asked them to do 3 or 4 things. But they pick up an Xbox controller, they can learn any game going.
Yeah.
In a matter of seconds, and retain all the information about all these different game modes. Like, kids who are into sport, like football, they know all of the players, they know all of their transfers, and I'm like, but you can't remember whether or not your teacher said you had homework to do today.
Yeah.
Or you can't remember what they said to enable you to do that homework. Or my favorite one, they've set this homework, but they haven't taught us it yet. Yeah. No, you just don't remember being taught because you're not interested. You're not interested. You don't care.
Yeah.
You're much more interested in all of this Xbox stuff and things like that. So, but I think the I can't attitude, it's definitely died down, and I'm hoping it's stuff that the kids grow out of. But I don't think that's come from you and him, like for 10 years or whatever, like just you and him. I think that's something a bit more
generational.
Yeah, generational, a bit more systemic. And I might be wrong, but I do think schools enable that I can't attitude. There's a lot of mollycoddling that seems to happen from teachers to students now that just wasn't there when we were kids. I don't remember teachers taking me out and having one-on-one conversations with me away from classrooms and being worried about kids getting upset. I remember being told to sit down and shut up and get on with stuff. Like,
you don't like it? Yeah. Get out of the classroom, you're suspended.
I'm going to tell your mum. I'm going to tell your dad. Like, I will have your parents in here and we will discuss your behaviour. Like, I remember other kids being shouted at all the time. You just don't see that in schools now because they're also worried about repercussions of disciplining other people's kids.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like anyway. But that's a whole nother
story.
Another story and another topic.
Yeah.
But
so we're talking about decisions completely changing your life. Do you feel that one decision can change your future?
One decision changing your future? Yeah. I actually think decisions change your future all the time. Like, I think everything that you do changes your future. I mean, my biggest example of that is I wasn't going to do automation. I wasn't going to follow the career path that I have now. I wanted to go into college and do music and technical music, like all the rigging and sound equipment and all that sort of stuff. And I wanted to do that because my friends wanted to do it. And I was like, well, fuck it, I'll just go and do that as well. But my parents intervened and were like, look, you've actually got an interest in electronics and, software and things like that. I've been tinkering around with that sort of stuff. And if you go and do that stuff, we'll buy you a motorbike.
Oh.
And I know that wasn't my decision, but it was my decision to take that offer. And I think I almost shudder now if I'm honest, if I just followed my friends whom I'm not friends with anymore.
Yeah.
Like, what would I be doing now? Because I'd have entered something that I wasn't interested in, really. I would have missed the opportunity that I had. And even getting into my first job, that was a decision that I chose to take. A ex-friend of mine got fired. Like, how you get fired from an apprenticeship and kicked off of a college course, I don't know, but he did. And I wrote a letter that just said, well, I'll take his place.
Mm-hmm.
And that is how I started my automation sort of career. And so, yeah, I know I've related it to work, but I do think decisions affect everything that you do going forwards.
Absolutely, yeah. Like, our little debate corner question there is it one decision? But like you've said, I think a lot of decisions shape your future.
Yeah.
Like, for me, I also went to uni. I went there to study PE and sports coaching science. I didn't finish that degree. But what would have life been like if I had?
Well, you wouldn't have been a dropout.
No,
I'm joking.
I wouldn't have. But I wouldn't be here now.
You wouldn't be here now. No, I think that there's a lot of merit in remembering that no matter what the decisions were, good, bad, shameful, amazing, whatever the outcome of that decision was, you're here now because of those decisions.
Yeah. And my life has been down so many different paths, like to this sporty path that I was going to go down, to then go into hospitality, where I was then a manager in a pub, to then go into teaching because I didn't want the pub life because it's unsociable. So I went to a 9 to 5 job, to then go into unsociable hours again with care. But yeah, I just don't know. They're all separate decisions that have shaped my future. It's not one decision's thinking, right, I'm going to drop out of university and I'm going to work here.
No, and I don't understand people's mindsets that think like that will whimsically make a decision that affects them so greatly without any sort of logical thought process before those decisions are made. I would like to think that every decision that I've made that has affected my future greatly has been a well thought out decision. And that's not always true, because you can have decisions that you make that end up in accidents that change your life. I mean, look at my sister, like, went out, made a decision to go skiing or whatever it was, and absolutely shattered her leg, and had years of recovery as a result, and those sorts of decisions aside, I mean, ones where you make a decision to change your future, as long as you're doing it with good intentions, with good solid foundations as to why you're making those decisions, you do just have to get on with the fact that you are wherever you are now if it doesn't go the way you want it to go. And remember that you've always got the ability to make another decision.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think like one thing I've learned sort of working in care, obviously we're out there to try and help people and to try and change their lives for the better. However, sort of when those people have still got the capacity to make their own decisions and they choose not to make their life better, it's hard to be like, bah, it's up to you to make those changes. We can only do so much.
Yeah.
As a person. Same, I think it's just the same in life. There's only so much people can do.
Yeah. Well, you know where I sit with that sort of stuff. I struggle with people who can't help themselves.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think having that kind of decision change your future. I think half the battle is knowing that decisions can change your future, especially when you're stuck in a rut thinking there's nothing I can do. Like, I don't have any control over my life. I'm just a passenger in this. Like, you're really not. Like, make decisions that change your future. But I do struggle with people who are stuck in that mindset of, I can't help myself. Like, big ones are, people who get told you're going to die of lung cancer or whatever if you continue to smoke, but they continue to smoke, and then complain about the fact that they're unwell and complain about the services and things like that are trying to help them, but they're not doing enough.
But they're not helping themselves, and they're not helping themselves.
And after having those arguments with doctors and things like that, they'll go outside and light up another cigarette. And I'm like, well, I find it really difficult to sympathize with people who are in those positions when they're not doing anything to change their outcome, because you do have the power to make decisions that change the outcome. And I think what me and you have been through, away from what we're discussing now, like bigger things, I think we show that you really can turn things around and change your future, change the path that you're on by making sometimes really small decisions.
Yeah.
So yeah, like, make decisions. I think it's important to sometimes sit back and reflect and say, am I actually happy with the path I'm going down? And if I'm not, change it, because no one else is going to do it for you.
No.
Especially in this world now, like, no one's going to do it for you. Like, people are quite happy to sit and watch what you're going through, but no one's going to help you actually change that. Everyone's got their own problems, so they're all making their own decisions. I think that leads nicely into, are regrets useful? Like, because a regret in my mind is usually because you didn't make a decision.
Or you made a bad decision.
Yeah, or you made a bad decision. But a lot of my regrets are because I didn't make a decision. Like, 4 years before I decided to actually get divorced, I should have made the decision to get divorced.
Or not get married.
Or not get married. Nah, because to be fair, I was married for 6 years, 7 years. I like 6, 7. I actually can't remember, but yeah, all I remember is 3, 4 years before we sort of knocked it on the head, I was thinking about knocking it on the head, and I wish I saved myself all those years.
Yeah.
But do I see that as a regret? Not now, because I met you, and I don't know if I would have met you if things hadn't panned out the way that they did. But certainly when we did split up, yeah, that felt like the biggest regret of, I can't believe I've wasted these years. And like every good experience we've had has been, because we did still have good experiences, but every good experience we've had has been tainted by this back of the mind regret of, I'm enjoying this, but I know I don't really want this.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's really difficult to explain to somebody. But I think regrets are useful from a sort of reflective point of view.
Yeah. So I was going to say that regrets are useful because you've made that choice, you've made that decision, and you know it wasn't the right one. So you know next time you're not going to do it.
Not to do it again.
You know what you want. Like, for me, sort of like on the dating sort of aspect of things, like, yeah, I've regretted some of my partners, but it's made me realize that I don't want a partner who doesn't appreciate my son.
Yeah.
Who is only there for like one reason.
Yeah.
Only wants me there on a weekend when I haven't got my son. It's those little things, like going through men. That makes me sound really bad, but I'm like, no, that's a red flag. That's a red flag.
Yeah.
So it made me realize that when I met you, I knew what I wanted.
No, that yeah,
And you ticked a lot of the boxes.
a lot of the boxes, not all of them.
Yeah, all of them.
All of them. No, I'm
No,
joking.
still
No,
one box to be ticked.
yeah. You can open that box down the road. But I think, I completely agree. And, I don't think it makes you sound bad at all. Like, people have to experience things. Like, you can't know what you don't know. So you've got to go and experience things in order to know. I think if we're going to go down the relationship side of things, I think the arc of my relationship, marriage, family building, children, all that sort of stuff. I think the natural arc of that relationship actually gave me all of the experience that I needed. I went from a very, very young relationship. Like I was 19 when I met her, and she was 16, and or 17. We'll say she was 17, but we were very young, and house owners by the time I was 21. Kids by the time I was 23. Like, everything was very early.
Yeah.
And I don't regret any of that stuff because I wouldn't have the kids that I have now. But I don't know if it's a regret, but there is part of me that wishes that we'd waited a little bit, and we'd actually slowed down and experienced things.
Experience life a bit more.
Yeah, maybe. However, we experience life. Now, everyone experiences life in different ways. There's no set way of doing it. But I think from a regrets point of view, I regret a little bit sacrificing my younger years to have kids younger, even though it's 100% what I wanted to do at the time. But the flip side of that is we're not exactly old, and we've got kids approaching teenage years, starting secondary schools and things like that. And,
we're going to have freedom again soon.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't label it as freedom.
More rain.
You're still going to have whiny 18-year-olds crying about everything and wanting us to fix everything for them.
Not in our house.
We will. But yeah, like, I do think regret is useful and important. So let's do the last one, and then we'll knock it on the head there with is life mostly luck or mostly hard work? And this is really interesting because for me, how I perceive things working out for me and how other people around me perceive stuff for me, I sit firmly in the hard work. I think I've worked really hard to have what I have and to achieve the things I've achieved in my career and things like that. And a lot of other people, not naming names, think that there's a huge element of luck in how I've got the career that I've got and do the things that I do. And what's your sort of take on whether or not life is luck or work?
I think it's a mix of both, to be honest. I guess depend on the person that you are. Some people are lucky and land those opportunities, with the people that they know, people that family know, experiences they've had. You could just be on work experience, say, and they actually really like you and they see potential in you. You're not working hard to do that. That's luck on your side.
I think there's a difference between hard work and work, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So being at a work experience, like in the example you just gave, and them liking you, is that because you've worked on yourself enough to be likable, to be adaptable to a situation? Like, does that fall under the work side or does that fall under the luck side?
Well, again, like I said, that's a mix of both, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, it really is. Like, I don't know. But I think life is hard. And it is hard work.
It is hard
and you've
work.
got to stick at it. And people do say, you've hit the jackpot there or whatever, you've got lucky there.
I think that actually it depends on who you're talking to, because your life is always, you're here, there's somebody who's here and there's somebody who's here. Like, people are always looking up and down at other people, and not from a I'm better than you point of view, but from like, you know, God, you're so lucky to have this, because that's what they want, or that's what they're missing in their life. Not necessarily saying that you haven't worked hard for it, but it's almost like they're saying, I wish I had the luck to have what you have, but they're forgetting the work that you had to put in to have
actually
that.
get there.
And equally, people can look the other way and say, well, you know, you should just work harder to get what you want, but they don't see the issues and the barriers that people have in order to even get any opportunity to even work harder. And there's a lot to there's a big open spectrum there, and you know, me and you are on very different ends of that spectrum in terms of what hard work means in order to get opportunities to be better or do better at life. So I personally think it's mostly hard work. I think if you stick at something long enough,
you're going to get results.
You will get results. And if you don't get results, then you get learning as to what doesn't work. And if you keep feeding that back in all the time, what other people will see is you got lucky.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't get lucky. Like, God,
you worked hard. Yeah, no, I see what you say.
But there are some people who just get lucky. And there is people who just get lucky. They get opportunities handed to them for seemingly no reason. But that's just what we see.
It's true.
So, but anyway, we'll leave it there.
Yeah.
I don't really know how to sign off one of these because this is the first one we've done. So I'm literally just going to end it there.
We can't be like James and Fuhad. Love, love, love.
Don't tell people who are. Yeah, don't tell people who are inspirational.
No, we want to get on their podcast.
Yeah, one day.